Hi students, in this video, we will talk about normative ethics. When we talk of normative ethics, this is the branch of ethics that investigates the set of questions that arise when considering how one ought to act. Ibig sabihin, this is the branch of ethics where we try to figure out what is right or what is wrong. No? Examining the standards of rightness and wrongness. If this is the case of normative ethics is prescriptive in nature. When we say prescriptive, nagpe-prescribe siya ng tamang gawa, ng tamang asal, at tamang pag-act sa isang bagay. It does not describe something, but rather it prescribes the correct or yung tamang action. Now, the first school of thought, no, in normative ethics is the one that is developed, no, or that is advocated by Socrates and Aristotle and other early Greek philosophers, which is yung tinatawag na virtue ethics. When we say virtue ethics, this is the school of thought that describes the character of a moral agent as a driving force for ethical behavior. No? Ibig sabihin, the rightness or wrongness of your actions are always based on your virtues, on the virtues in which you acted upon. According to Socrates, for you to be in virtue ethics, the attention from the outside world, no, is being driven away and strive to look into our human condition. According to Socrates also, knowledge has the highest value and all others are secondary. According to him, self-knowledge and awareness is necessary for doing good. So, ibig sabihin, dapat tayo mismo ay knowledgeable because if we're not knowledgeable, if we are ignorant of things, it may result to evil actions. No? So, Socrates believed that people will do good if they know what is right. On the other hand, Aristotle said that a person who acts in accordance with virtue will do the right thing. No? So according to Aristotle, what you have, the virtues that you have in doing an action will always be the right thing if you have acted upon a virtue. No? Unhappiness and frustration are caused by doing wrong and leading to failed goals and a poor life. Now, according to Aristotle, virtue or ethics is only attainable by the practice of the virtues, no? In order for you to be happy, content, and complete. Because in this school of thought, happiness was held to be the ultimate goal. No? And that the practice of the virtues is the surest path to happiness. Another school of thought that we will discuss, no, in normative ethics is Stoicism, which is talked about and developed by or propagated by Epictetus, where he posited that the greatest good was contentment and serenity. No? So serenity, peace of mind, or yung tinatawag in Greek na apatheia, was of the highest value. Now, to achieve this spiritual peace, no, we have to have self-mastery over our own desire and our own emotion. So whatever or how do we act, no, with our surroundings, no, that determines the peace of mind that we will have, no, and therefore the correct actions that we will take. Okay. Stoicism believes that the individual's, no, will should be independent and inviolate. Ibig sabihin, may kakayahan ng bawat tao na maging makapag-isip, no, makapamili na kung anong dapat niyang gawin. In Stoicism, it's also advocated that the virtues of wisdom, temperance, justice, and courage are necessary to achieve a good society and to achieve apatheia or the peace of mind. Another school of thought that we will talk about is yung tinatawag na intuitive ethics, no? When we say intuitive ethics, no, our intuition, our intuitive awareness of value or knowledge forms the foundation of our ethical knowledge, no? Our own understanding, our own awareness of value, our knowledge will be the foundation of our ethical knowledge. If that's the case, then moral truths can be known non-inferentially. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, dapat we are able, no, to understand, to recognize the things that are happening around us. That's according to intuitive ethics. It requires us to have cognition of things that is happening around us. Okay? Objections to ethical intuitionism include whether or not there are more objective moral values, because it's based on yourself. It's based on the way that you think. No? It's based on your own subjectivity. The rightness and wrongness is based on your subjectivity. So, an objection to that is that whether we have an objective moral value which is applicable for everyone. Another school of thought is yung tinatawag na hedonism, no? Or this originated, no, in Cyrene, no, in Cyrene, and one of the proponents is Aristippus of Cyrene, wherein the principal ethic or the principal correct action is to maximize your pleasure and minimize pain. So hedonists or hedonistic thought, no, ranges from those advocating indulgence of momentarily desires to those teaching a pursuit of spiritual bliss. So everything that will maximize pleasure and minimize your pain, that's under hedonism. Okay? One of their motto pa nga is that eat, drink, and be merry because for tomorrow we die. Another one of the opposition or objections to hedonism are the Epicureans, because they have observed that indiscriminate indulgence can sometimes result to negative consequences. No, too much indulgence to your own pleasures can also result in negative consequences. Another school of thought is yung tinatawag na consequentialism. When we say consequentialism, this refers to the theory or moral theory that hold that the consequences of our actions are the primary basis for the rightness or wrongness of the action itself. So those morally right actions are those who will produce good outcomes. And the weight is given to the consequences in evaluating the rightness and wrongness of actions. Kapareho yan ng utilitarianism, no? Utilitarianism, okay? But in utilitarianism, this is an ethical theory that argues that proper course of action is one that maximizes a positive effect, such as happiness and welfare, no? Or the ability to live according to personal preferences to a greater number of people. So kung kanina sa consequentialism, kung ano lang yung outcome, yun lang ang determinant ng tama o maling action. In utilitarianism, the determinant is still the outcome plus, no, its effect to a greater number of people, or the number of people who will benefit in utilitarianism. Another school of thought, no, in ethics is yung tinatawag na deontologism. No? In other words, tinatawag din itong duty ethics. Bakit? Because the morality of your action should not be based now on the actions or the consequences of your actions, but rather looking into the internal source, no, of your action. Okay? Looking at the internal motivation, the internal duty that is nakalakip or attached to your actions. Okay? This may arise from an external or internal source, such as the rules inherent to the universe, religious law, or a set of personal or cultural values, whichever is you apply to yourself. So technically speaking, deontologism refers to the duty that you have, no, that you need to perform. Doon, yun ang basis ng tama o maling action. So whatever is in against it, no, with your duty on a particular action, no, those actions are not morally acceptable or ethically acceptable. But those actions that coincide with your duty, no, yung mga ginawa ninyong in accordance to your duty, no, and with a sense of duty, yun ay katanggap-tanggap according to deontologism. So, one type of deontologism is yung tinatawag na Kantianism, okay? Which is proposed by Immanuel Kant, okay? So, according to Immanuel Kant, ito na nga, siya yung one of the primary authors of this, is that he said, Immanuel Kant, for you to act morally, in a morally right way or upright way, people must act from your duty. Okay? And he does not view the consequences of actions that make your actions right or wrong, but rather your motives as a person who carries out the action. Okay? Because there are actions that even if it benefits a lot of people, but the intention is to self-promote himself, no? That's ethically unacceptable sometimes, right? So according to Kant, no, we have to look on the intentions of a person, on why did he do such actions. Okay. Now, according to Kantianism, the highest good, no, that is considered to be good is the good in itself and good without qualifications. When we say good in itself, the very nature of your actions is good, no, or tama, or right. And that the good has no qualification. When we say good without qualification, it only means that your actions should be good kahit na walang reservations, walang pagtatangi. So ibig sabihin, your actions should be good universally. No? Okay? Now, according to Kant, the consequences of an act or of willing cannot be used to determine that the person has a good will. Okay? The only thing that is truly good in itself is a good will. And a good will is only good when the willer chooses to do something because it is that person's duty. Now, even if we understand our duty, even if we understand what is good, but we did not act upon it, no, that's considered still considered wrong, because we have to choose to do something because it is our duty. No, it is our duty. And that central to Kantianism is the concept of categorical imperative. So what is a categorical imperative? A categorical imperative states that, no, it's a guide for our action, no, for our decision making, that an act only according to the maxim by which you can also will to become a universal law. No? And how will that happen? If we only will that action to be done to ourselves. No, kapag ginawa lang natin ito at we want it to be done unto ourselves. So sa mga sa makatuwid, no, a categorical imperative for an action to be considered as universal, you have to willingly apply it to yourself. Dapat i-apply mo siya sa sarili mo bago mo siya ma-consider na universal law. So for example, no, if you want you want to make abortion a universal law, then you have to will to yourself that you yourself be aborted. That's according to Kantianism. No? Because you can only apply it as a universal law if it applies also to you. No? If you want to be applied it to you, ikaw mismo i-abort, no? Okay? So sa mga katuwid, you also have to be killed, right? And if you want it, then let's accept it as a universal law. But do you want yourself to be aborted? I don't think so. Okay? So that's why abortion cannot be universally accepted. Okay? It's because of the category. It's the category. It is the one of the requirements of being a categorical imperative. Number two, categorical imperatives, no, says that we should act in such a way that you always treat humanity as an end, no, never as a mean. Ibig sabihin, we have to all of our actions, no, all of our actions should view humanity as an end point, no? You should direct all of your actions in improving or at the goodwill as an end sa humanity. We should never use humanity as a means to get what we want. Okay? So yun ang sinasabi ng categorical imperative, and that every rational being must so act as if he were though his maxim, always a legislating member in a universal kingdom of ends. A uh, a religious application of the Kantianism or of deontologism is the divine command theory, wherein we see our actions as right or wrong because of a supreme being has decreed it, no? For example, in Christianity, we have our 10 commandments, no, instituted by God, and Jesus Christ's ultimate commandment, no, love one another as I have loved you. Okay, so that's a divine command theory, no. So all of our actions should be ascribed, no, or in conformance to the will of the supreme being. Okay, it's a form of deontology because if you will look into it, you're following a certain set of duty, no? You're following a certain set of duty. And it's sometimes ascribed to Kantianism because you like to ascribe it as your duty, or the divine command is your duty, no? To the universe, okay? To maintain social order. Another type of ethics is yung tinatawag na discourse ethics, no? Proposed by Jürgen Habermas, where he proposed that the action should be based on communication between those involved, in which their interests and intentions are discussed so that they can be understood by all. Sa madaling salita, in discourse ethics, you try to develop a contract, no? A contract between two persons, and that contract sets the duty and expectations from both parties. And for you to act properly, that each person or each party involved in the contract should follow what's been stipulated in their agreement. Okay? So when just to clear things up, I'm just when we say contract in the context of ethics, it's not a contract that you sign, no? When we say contract, it's an agreement between two people. So sa madaling salita, in discourse ethics, kapag ikaw ay sumunod sa iyong word of honor, sa iyong agreement, no, with other people, then you act according to your duties. And you did a good action. Another type or another school of thought in ethics is yung tinatawag na pragmatism, wherein pragmatism is for you to learn something, you must reconstruct or construct your own human experience and learn things, no, to find out what is right or what is wrong. So you try to develop your own sense of right and wrong through human experience, through your own personal experience, no? Kaya nga pragmatic or practical. Now, for you to develop your own human experience, you must experiment, no? You must use instruments, no, to develop our own experience. Kaya sometimes pragmatism took on many forms like experimentalism and instrumentalism. So nakadikit ang pragmatism to the human experience, no? To the real to the individual experience. Okay? So as to the point na difficult ang pragmatism because it's too materialistic, no? Sometimes even if we don't have an experience over an ethical dilemma, we cannot know what is right or what is wrong, no? But ethical virtues, ethical values are not always materialistic. Sometimes they are abstract and can be known only universally, no? Through universal observation. So that's why pragmatism cannot help us attain the correct cannot help us attain or achieve, no, the correct action because we can we lack we may lack experience. Okay, we may lack experience, and it becomes too individualistic. When you say too individualistic, based on the person's experience, dun lang magmumula ang kanyang values, no? So nagkakaroon ng sense of subjectivity, mag-iiba-iba yung values from one person to the other. Another set of or another school of thought is yung tinatawag na ethics of care, no? In ethics of care, it seeks to incorporate traditionally feminized virtues and values like compassion, empathetic relationships, etc. No? Even this particular school of thought does not want, no, to have does want to have or promote, no, empathic relationships, no, values such as empathy and compassion in the correct way of dealing with people or in the proper way of dealing with people and even determining the right course of action. Okay? Role ethics is an ethical theory that is based on familial roles. Okay? So morality is derived from a person's relationship with their communities. No? One example of role ethics is yung tinatawag na Confucian ethics, while in which is they call it filial piety or xiao. Okay, but here in the Philippines, we also have we also value our familial roles, no, and acting according to the roles in our family makes our actions being acceptable to society, no? Kaya minsan, no, wag yung may mga makikita kayong post on Facebook na toxic family of toxic Filipino culture ang sumasagot sa matanda. Well, role ethics will tell you that that those actions are not acceptable because we Filipinos, we value our families, no? Okay? Now, postmodern ethics also is an evolution. No? It's an ethical school of thought which rooted from the Marxist theory. Okay, which sought to problematize human relationships to knowledge and objective reality. So, postmodern ethics, try to understand the complexity, no, of relational conditions of our actions. Okay? And it recognizes that our modern society is messy in nature, okay, and is unchangeable. So therefore, postmodern ethics should stand up, no, should stand up on the messy nature of our reality. Okay, that ends our lecture for this week. If you have any questions or some sort of inquiries, you can always send me a message in my messenger. Okay? And if you want to discuss something, you can always post it in our Facebook group, no? Or Canvas discussion, or share a discussion with your classmates. I hope that you have learned from me from this week, and I wish you a happy week and happy studying.